But is it both parties like responsibility to make sure that they're equally invested, or will it always be more of an employer responsibility to try to create retention, to try to ensure that they're engaging their workforce? And then from an employee standpoint, your job is one, continue to upskill, continue to be able to provide value and ensure that you've got that safety, or it's your job to constantly have a plan B, to constantly be looking for changes, to, have a mindset where you're going to be an entrepreneur 3 or 5 or 10 years from now, because that's the safest place to be, where you can be in that position where you can control your destiny, self-employed, start a business? Or does some of that also fall on the system, the government, the schools, on how we bring the new generation of people up to make sure that this partnership is far more mutually beneficial? Because it seems like it's broken. It seems like people on all sides are having a hard time.
Yeah. Well, let's add a layer to the complexity that I think contributes. And that is, we've seen in the last 20 years or so, more new industries be created, whether it is biometric feedback testing, or whether it's these gig economy opportunities, or these platforms like a scooter business or an Uber or an Airbnb, that are not, massively radically new industries, but they're taking a piece of an industry and going a different direction. That fundamentally, I think, has created a dynamic of great, all these new industries and opportunities. Awesome. While at the same time creating massive fear, what is the right choice? There's too many choices. And what if I make the wrong choice? And did I choose the wrong one coming here? And I can see through social media all the benefits and perks that they're getting over there, all the cool projects they're solving that I couldn't see before. I didn't know what I was missing. Now I know what I'm missing more than ever before.
Right. Yeah.
And all these new industries. And so let's take a pause and talk about the healthcare industry again. I've told you I've done a lot of work with hospital associations around the world. What they struggle with is nurses today have more ways to make money other than a hard, uncomfortable shift in a hospital than ever before. Right. I could be telehealth. I can be a travel nurse. I could be a visiting nurse. I could go into these new concierge nurse businesses where it's not a grind and we go into homes. It's just different. And hospitals never had to deal with a demographic that had that choice before. Right. And while at the same time, because of the pandemic, primarily, the angst and frustration that's coming into a hospital, I can't be with my dying family member because of COVID. I have to wear this mask. I have to get a vaccine. They've borne the brunt unfairly for a lot of frustrations aimed at, policy decisions at the government level, whatever, to the point where many hospital associations have had to start providing violence prevention training for their staff.
Yeah, they have to be technicians in their role, plus therapists and police officers and security guards all in one.
The nurse is I didn't sign up for that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, all the teachers are I didn't sign up to be a Zoom instructor. That's not filling my tank. Yeah. That's not, my jam. So,
paramedics is another one that have been hugely impacted as well.
Yeah. And the Economist had an article a few weeks ago. The title was, "It's a bad time to have a heart attack."
Right.
Because the number of paramedics it's lower than it's ever been around the globe, that in the UK, the response time has gone from 20 minutes to an hour on average. That's just frightening, right? And that's sort of one of those domains where failure shouldn't be an option. And that's socialized medicine in the UK too, unlike the States. So, these things are also contributing to this environment, that we're in. And I want to go back to something you said, because I think we're limiting our choices if we just look at employer-employee. The truth is, as an employer, your job is to create something of value. Okay. Yeah. That's your job. Having employees is one way to do it. Having contractors, having outsourced providers, having partnerships, having other communities help you is an option. So it doesn't always have to be employees. In fact, I was on the golf course one time with the CEO. This is in BC. We were on the golf course. CEO, no, it was the CFO. I'm sorry. And he, his whole organization, the technicians of his organization had just gone on strike. And I was like, "How's it going?" He goes, "I love my job. Just love my job, except for the people." I thought it was a great comment. And it was Yeah, man, people are complex and difficult. It's a beautiful thing, but it's kind of more of an art form. And I think, that dynamic of, we as employers have to come up, I think, with different creative ways to create value. It doesn't always have to be an employee. If you truly believe, and employers, I think, get stuck when you say, well, I have to own the employee. They can't work for anyone else but me. Really? Why?
Yeah.
Why? I mean, all the research is showing the more people have variety in their, day-to-day experience, the more their creative, output. So, and that's not to say people should have 3 to 5 jobs, but having a hobby, belonging to community organizations, people tend to perform better. Why not having 2 different jobs in 2 different industries? Why couldn't we get to the same, conclusion, So I'm pushing the envelope here a little bit, Brent, because I think that we're stuck a little bit and we need to look for other ways. And I think we have to appreciate that people are probably going to feel less loyal. And that example of a company you gave earlier was like, oh no, we lost Susan. She's the only one that knows how to do this. It's going to take us 8 to 12 weeks or, several months. Well, that's on you,
Yeah.
because
100%.
you didn't cross-train Susan. Someone else knew what Susan's doing. You made her job. You made her so indispensable that she parlayed that. And we have to be mindful of that.
Yeah.
Any job today that takes 2 years for someone to learn,
Yeah.
they're
You got
going
a
to leave
problem.
after 2.5 years, or
Yeah.
3, and then you're screwed. So how can you re-engineer work to expect people to go and and this is where I get into this whole, like, who's responsible, right? Because that's what we like to do as humans, like, who's the, that young generation or those schools that don't know what they're doing. Schools are not delivering what some businesses want because the businesses can't tell the schools what they need. And so the school's like, we want to deliver. And so schools, I think, should deliver great soft skills, which Josh Bersin has called power skills, which I think is a great name. And the company should deliver the hard skills.
Right.
And I think we should see, someone said this, I can't remember who it was, but it was brilliant. They said to me, the name of a business in the future, Steve, is business school, because you're going to have to get in that business. You can't expect plug and play anymore.
Yeah.
And in the healthcare industry, think about this. Not only do they have a supply of nurse problem, they have a brand of that being a cool profession problem. So their pipeline is going to shrink, and they're going to have to go and sell being a nurse when they didn't have to before.
Right.
And that's a new challenge, right? And so I think we're all going to have to look at our pipeline differently, and the lines between education institutions and employers, I think, are going to start to blur. At LinkedIn, I'll tell you, the way we solved our recruiting challenge significantly was stopping to recruit in the mid-career range of sort of like intermediate senior manager, and massively recruited the new grad and grow those.
Yeah.
And it was when we were hit around 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 people that we could support that model. But that was so much easier for us to recruit on campus. And we gave schools our projects. Hey, can you solve this problem on campus? And we'll give you some of our executives to come co-teach with you so we can get in there. And that was a laboratory for not only technical solutions, but also for us to get visibility to talent. And I think this world that we're seeing, and we've touched on a number of things that are happening right now that are substantially different, is going to cause us to have to have those lines get blurred, and as employers get in there to the schools more. Yeah.